All right, welcome everybody to our eBay training tonight. So we are talking now in the case that it's now almost March. We're a day out from March. Spring is just around the corner. Weather should be warming up. I say should be, right? No, it's not the case for everywhere, but should be warming up most places around the country, or at least starting to. The seasonality of a lot of sales change on eBay. And of course, there's always, your staples that'll be selling all year long. You've got your electronics and your pet supplies and, your home decor items and what have you. But there's certainly there's seasonal items this time of year that we can take advantage of. So I want to share a few of those with you. Specifically today, we're going to be talking about outdoor furniture. So I want to just make a note of that here. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. Outdoor furniture. I got to tell you, this market specifically has been an absolute staple over the years as I've taught eBay. I can't remember the statistic. eBay gave it once, and I tried to look it up and couldn't find it. So I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to give it to you guys anyway. But a few years ago, they said during this time of year, peak season or whatever in the outdoor furniture space, that a piece of patio or outdoor furniture sells on eBay like every 6 seconds. So literally every 6 seconds, right? It's like 10 a minute. So every minute we're sitting here, 10 items, 10 patio furniture pieces sell on eBay. And that's a big deal considering the fact that outdoor furniture is expensive. And it surprises a lot of my clients that this time of year I start to recommend it because they think to themselves, well, isn't it a big hassle? And wait a minute, isn't it really expensive? And do people actually buy that kind of thing on eBay or on the internet? Don't they have to go sit in it and touch it and feel it and smell it and make sure it's right for them? No, I mean, people buy this stuff all the time, and they will, and they do. So I want to recommend this market to you guys today. And to kind of give you an idea for the trend, if you ever use this is kind of a good little tool to see trends. Google.com/trends. If we type patio furniture up here and do a search, again, if you want to use this tool, it's free to use, google.com/trends. You're going to see a little trending report show up. Let me zoom in so you guys can see this better. Okay. Here's the graph. This is going back to 2012. And if I run my mouse over it, it'll actually give me the months. And you can kind of see, how it trends over the months. But without me doing that, what do you notice about this graph? What sticks out to you? What's obvious to you about this graph? Isn't it very cyclical? It is. It's seasonal. There are definitely peaks and valleys, and this shouldn't surprise you, should it? So what's the low in all of these times? Mid-December. So look where my mouse is. Mid-December or late December. Mid to late December. Mid to late December, so on and so forth. That's the low. What's the peak? Peaks you can find mid-May to late May, late April to early May, end of May, okay? March, if you look, is sort of up here on the upswing. That's kind of when it really starts to move north, is around mid-March. That's kind of like halfway out of the trench there. So I'm bringing it up now. I know it's not peak season yet. We're a few months out from peak season. But guess what? You don't decide in mid-May to late May to start selling patio furniture and expect to do very well. That's just not the way it works. If you're going to prepare for a season, you want to start researching suppliers now. Truthfully, this should have probably happened earlier than that, but I mean we're in the first part of March, so we'll start now anyway. Find suppliers, find good options to list these products. and get putting them up in your store right now with no expectation that you're going to kill it right this second, but just that you're going to build your inventory. It's very difficult to have 250 pieces of outdoor furniture in your eBay store at the peak season in late April, early May. When you start late April, early May, you've got to start thinking about loading up now. Okay, that's why we're bringing this up. So it is trendy. I got to tell you, some of my best clients over the years, and I don't mind telling you this because truthfully, this is such a big market. I feel like we can all be in it. We can all be selling in it. We can all use suppliers and even share suppliers and still all do just fine. So I don't mind sharing this with you, but some of my very best clients, they depended on this time of year. They love the outdoor furniture. And if we're just talking about pros of selling outdoor furniture, can I just list a couple of pros here? One, I don't know if this is a pro. I mean, we talked about its seasonality. So high in what did we decide? April through, yeah, that sounds about right. April through about August, September, and then it starts slowing down. So we'll say April to, late August, right? So there's an obvious serious demand at a certain interval during the year. High ticket. Okay, why is that a pro, guys? When you sell something that's high ticket, I know that's relative, but we'll say this is high ticket. It's, anywhere from a $200 sale up to a $1,500 sale or more, right? That's about what you'll be selling this stuff for. Sometimes more. I haven't had a lot of clients sell anything past $1,500. You make more, right? Even if you're making 15% on this, right? What's the math on that? If you're making 15% on a $200 sale, you're still making $30. So we'll say that's the sale. So profit is going to be anywhere from like a $30 profit clear up to, what's $1,500 times 0.15, anywhere up to like a $225 profit or higher. I mean, I've had a few clients that have found like some really, really great pieces of furniture at a good price, and they're making 30% on it, 35% on it, which is pretty awesome on a piece of furniture. And if you're selling that, that $450 bistro set or whatever it is and making 35% on it, you're making over $150 a sale. Now that's exciting to me, and it's exciting to a lot of my clients, because if you've lived in the eBay selling box of small ticket items, to make $150, you have to sell a whole ton of crap, right? You're making $15 a piece. You got to sell 10 of them to make that $150. Whereas someone who's selling higher ticket stuff, yeah, they only need to sell one a day, right? They sell one of those pieces of furniture a day, 150 times 7 days a week. That's $1,000 a week times 52. They're making over 50 grand a year. Now that's assuming you could sell one every single day. Is it possible? Sure is. And outside of the outdoor furniture selling, when that goes out of peak season, you can certainly pick up on selling other higher ticket items like furniture, indoor furniture, and decor, right? There's other stuff that you could sell for sure. So look, the bottom line is there's a lot of interest from my clients with higher ticket sales, especially because it takes no more work, doesn't it? Right? If you're going to list something small, it's not a big deal. You get the picture, you get the description, you mark up the price, you write a really well done title, and you post it on eBay. But it takes you just as long to list that little $45 item that you're selling as it does to list the $450 piece of furniture. So I'm just telling you right now, higher ticket items are really great if you can do it. Now, what's the drawback? Anybody have any ideas who's been in the higher ticket items or industry on eBay? Let's talk about the big con here. There's one in particular. but there are others, so I'll mention some of those. Yeah. Who mentioned that? PayPal holds. Howard. I agree. If you're a newer seller, it can be difficult because if you sell an $800 piece of furniture, well, you'll collect the $800 in your PayPal account, won't you? But you won't be able to use that $800 to buy your piece of furniture because PayPal has it held for you. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about holds tonight. We talk about that in other trainings. But the bottom line is, newer sellers don't get access to their revenue right away. They have to get the item delivered, and then that $800 gets released to them, and then they can go pay off their credit card that they bought the item on. So say that item is, $500. Well, you'll have to front that money on your credit card, right? Because you can't use your $800 yet if you're a newer seller. You got to wait till it's been delivered. So that could be a potential con. This is a good one, Corinne, and I really agree with it. Lower feedback scores struggle. Okay, meaning if you're a newer seller, so this would be more for newer sellers. If you're a newer seller, you don't have a lot of feedback on eBay, it is harder to sell big ticket items, right? Because it does happen, so I'm not saying, you can't do it, but it's harder if you have a 0 feedback or a very low feedback score to sell an $800 piece of furniture because people look at that and they see that as a bit risky, right? Whereas if you have a nice high feedback score with really favorable commentary on it and you look like a really legit seller, you won't have as hard of a time. So sometimes this doesn't work as well for sellers that have little to no feedback. That could potentially be a concern, right? I forgot to list on the pros here. Same amount of listing work for much more money. We talked about that. Okay, what else? Yeah, and you're right about that, Corinne. Scams. There are scams. Well, actually, I will tell you, scammers target higher priced items, so maybe you'll get a little more fraud, a few more scammers out there. But there's ways for us to handle that. It's not that big of a deal. Shipping is a little bit of a concern. Most shipping is going to be free from most suppliers, but a lot of times it's shipped using freight. And what does that mean, guys? What does it mean when somebody is shipping with freight as opposed to normal shipping? Who can answer that? Maybe none of you guys here have done freight before. Yeah, it's loaded on a big truck, and it might be outsourced to a trucking company. So it's not like UPS or FedEx or the post office are going to ship these higher, bigger, heavier items. Usually like Walmart or Sears or Amazon or Target or whoever you're getting the item from, they may actually have a big trucking company who they contract with deliver the item. And not that that's a big deal. I mean, the shipping may still be free, but sometimes, so I'm going to emphasize sometimes, upon delivery, the customer has to be home, okay, or else they won't deliver it. So what that means for you is sometimes you have to get your customer's phone number and let them know that you need to give that to the freight company so they can schedule a delivery time. Well, how do you get that phone number? Well, you can email them, you can message them, you can actually get it through eBay if you ask. But anyway, you need that phone number a lot of times. So there's a little extra headache involved with shipping, but not to where it's beyond the benefit of doing it. Good. Last con that I want to bring up. Let's say this: higher ticket items eat up your eBay seller limit fast. Okay, so some of you guys who are newer, and this is more of an issue for newer sellers, if you only have a limit, like a selling limit of $5,000, it doesn't take very many higher ticket items to eat that up, right? 5,000 divided by 20. You could list 20 items at $250, but that would eat up your whole entire limit, right? If your average ticket item is 250 and you want to list 300 of those, you'd have to have a selling limit of $75,000. Most of you newer sellers don't have that. Now, you can earn that quickly, and I will tell you, my clients that do higher ticket items have limits of over $1 million per month that they can list. But they didn't earn that overnight. They started selling some of that furniture, and then eBay, ratcheted up their selling limits. So anyway, there's some of the cons. So this is a strategy that works extremely well, but there are some potential issues, mostly for newer sellers. But this is what's exciting about it. I've heard some of you say, Trevor, I can't get way excited about eBay because you can't really make a lot of money there, right? I'm only making $15 if I'm lucky per sale, and I'm just not making that many sales. And my response to that is, well, guess what? If you'll keep making a few of those sales, and eBay will ratchet up your limits, and then you start listing some of this furniture and you start selling some of that, they will up your limits much faster. And then all of a sudden, if the majority of your store is listing these higher ticket items and you only make 1, maybe 2 sales a day on higher ticket items, you'll be making more than you make at your normal job. That's why you can actually turn eBay into a real business, not just some side hobby that makes you a couple of bucks here and there. It's because of stuff like this. Okay. All right. So that's a good pros and cons list. Let me just show you where I would advise you to start doing some outdoor furniture if you're new to the market. Over the years, Sears has been sort of a go-to. Now, Sears, interestingly enough, is they've really struggled as a company as of late. Their stock popped up pretty aggressively recently because they had a CEO come in and say they were going to turn things around, and so anyway, I'm just looking at their stock chart right now. Check this out. Over the years, look at this. Look at how much Sears has struggled. In mid-2007, their stock was trading at $191 a share. Today, it's at $7.84. So that gives you some idea of how the company has really, really struggled a little bit, right? Not quite what they once were. But as of late, if you look back, I don't know, the past, even the past year, it's not like their stock has been flourishing. Like they're not trending in the right direction. Now, does that mean I can't sell their stuff? Of course it doesn't mean that. And of course I can. And interestingly enough, they have a really great outdoor furniture section. Okay, so if I go to outdoor and then patio furniture, they actually have pretty affordable or affordably priced outdoor furniture. So for example, I could look at their bar sets. And you'll see some discounted stuff here too, right? Like this one right here, this is kind of exciting. You look for these good sales, and I do like sales in the outdoor furniture space because it makes you way more competitive. But regular price $500, and I'm able to get this thing for for $180 kind of thing. It looks like a $180 piece of furniture, a little 3-piece wicker set. So I would base my sale on assuming I'm going to get it for $180 and then just kind of keep my eye on it. I would do a sale price item for 30 days still, Howard, but I would be checking it a couple of times a week at least to make sure it's not going off of sale. So, and you would take this and you'd mark it up, whatever it is, 35, 40%, just like a lot of your stuff. I'd probably take this at 180 and mark it up, 40%, try to sell it for, 250, 260, 270, and you might think that's crazy, that's way too much. It's not. You can test different pricing models, but I think that's a good place to start. A good 35-40%. Remember, I mean, if I sell it for $250, eBay is going to take 13% of that. So 250 times 0.13, eBay is going to take $33, right? And there might be a little sales tax involved when I buy it. So you got to calculate these things in. But very doable, and nice little piece of furniture you could list there. If the item goes off sale, I just mark up the price, Henry. Yeah, I don't actually pull it down. I just mark up the price. And guys, there's so much outdoor furniture here on Sears, and this is just one option. Okay, you could do Sears, you could do Target. They've got a nice little outdoor furniture section. I haven't looked at theirs even this season yet, but let's take a look. Categories: patio and garden, patio furniture, shop all patio furniture. They've got a huge outdoor furniture collection, and you'll actually see now that we're getting more into the season that this stuff is really going to be in stock. You can look at their patio sets, and anyway, you can look at their ratings too. This is a cool little, unique little set, kind of a modern set right here. 3-piece sling rope chat set for $270. I might mark this up to $380 and try to sell it. Right? You might say that's crazy. That's a huge markup. Well, I don't know. Here's the thing about patio furniture, guys. It's not like buying an iPad or a gallon of milk. Right? If I would have quizzed all of you guys, if you didn't see the price on this and I would have said, tell me how much this is selling for, I would have gotten you guys to give me answers anywhere from $100 to probably $500, $600. Because you just don't know. It's a piece of outdoor furniture. I mean, it's one of those things where it's not easy to price, and therefore, if you're overpriced, people aren't as turned off by that. I asked my wife about that one. I mean, she likes what she likes when she does any kind of furniture shopping, and sure, price matters to an extent, but she's more concerned about finding the right piece for our home than she is about the price necessarily. And I think that's a little more common in furniture, just because everybody's preferences are a little bit different. I don't know. Again, it's not like everybody knows the price of an iPad who's shopping for an iPad. If you're shopping for furniture of some kind, you don't know the prices so well. I guess that's the main point I want to make. Yeah, Edward, I said 13% because I was just combining eBay and PayPal. You're right. eBay takes 10%, but PayPal takes 3%. So my total transaction cost off of that is 13%. Sets and pieces, I don't know if I have a balance on that at all. I do yeah, I mean I do all kinds of different ones, Howard. I do little bistro sets. I do single chairs, single benches, complete sets that are really kind of expensive. I'll do some of those on occasion. But I don't have a specific allocation of how, types for my patio furniture portfolio, so to speak. And especially at the beginning, I just list and list and list. And then what's cool is you'll find that seller that you'll sell twice a week all season long. And that's gold. That's what you want, right? You find that item you're making $80 on twice a week for the next 6 months. That's awesome, right? Making $160 a week off of one item. You find a bunch of those, you can make some serious money on it. You'll list a lot of losers too. Like, don't get me wrong. There's a reason why you got to have still a couple hundred of these listings to see some consistency. If you list 25 pieces of furniture and nothing sells, I'm not going to be shocked. That's not going to baffle me at all. I'm going to say, well, you need 10 times that much. Get listing it. But you can still discover good sellers even with fewer listings. That's for sure. Now, do you always have to do Sears, Target, Amazon? Walmart has outdoor sets. Wayfair has outdoor sets. No, I mean those are just the major retailers, and those might be a great place to start because truthfully, from a major retailer, outdoor furniture is pretty cheap. I mean, it's really inexpensive, and the shipping is in most cases free. And so it just, I mean, if you walk down and tried to ship a piece of furniture, it would cost you hundreds of dollars. When Walmart ships it, it costs them very few dollars because they have such a big shipping account with these freight providers and these affiliates that do their shipping. So it's nice to use these bigger companies for sure. But I don't want you to think this is your only option. You can certainly go to a place like Google and find some more creative, not so mainstream furniture, okay? I can do a search for patio furniture, and I can look through the sites that come up. Overstock sells it. There's Wayfair. Home Depot has it. World Market. Kohl's has it. Kmart has it. But look beyond some of these, and look down into Google a little bit. Hay Needle, House, so on and so forth. You can find some lesser known. Frontgate.com, right? Let's click on this real quick. You can find some lesser known places that carry some really cool stuff that may not be as mainstream on eBay. See, a lot of people are using big time retailers on eBay. Not as many people are going to be using somebody a little smaller like a Frontgate, in which case you might be able to be the exclusive seller of certain furniture sets, and you're the only seller on all eBay that carries it. Right? Some of you guys are concerned about marking up prices so high, and you say, well, how can you compete? And well, you can, and you do if your marketing is solid. But what if you're the exclusive seller on eBay of a certain set of patio furniture? And think about all those loyal eBay shoppers that don't shop the rest of the internet. You're their only option. You have literally no competition on eBay for the same sets. So there is value in discovering the lesser known companies. And am I going to give you specific ones? No. And this is where you get to do some research. If you're new to the industry, start with the mainstream suppliers. But once you get a little experience, go out there and find some unique ones. Go out there and find some unique ones through Google, just like I showed you, and dig through the search engine, and you'll find some good stuff for sure. Shannon, it's always good to see you. I love having you at these webinars. So please come more. I feel like I don't see you quite enough. Glad to see you here for sure. Jeff, you say, do we have to inquire with smaller companies if they do drop ship? Yeah, good question. Yeah, a lot of times you want to check. And you don't have to check with Frontgate here and say, "Hey, do you guys drop ship?" That language you don't need to use. You might confuse the person in customer service over it. Say, "Hey, if I buy one of these items, do you mind if I ship it to a third-party address, not my billing address? And by the way, can I ship it as a gift?" You can have that conversation. If you get on the phone with somebody in their customer service and you say, "Hey, I'm drop shipping on eBay. Do you guys drop ship?" They're going to be like, "What are you talking about?" And most people won't understand that. So just make sure you word it okay, and yeah, you'll want to check. But most companies will do that. I mean, these days in 2017 on the internet, items are bought and sent as gifts all the time that most companies will do it for sure. So anyway, so there you go, guys. This is, I mean, I commonly get asked, what should I sell on eBay? Give me some advice on what works and what doesn't. I'm telling you right now, this is an area that works. Take advantage of it. It's March now. I know it's not peak season, but it will be soon. Hopefully this gives you some idea of how to take advantage of a really proven market on eBay. All right. Okay. Well, if you guys need anything, we'll see you next week, Tuesday. We'll be doing another eBay training, and we'll cover more then. Thanks for coming around, and as always, love to share this stuff with you guys. We'll see you soon. Thanks again.